either you agree or disagree with me. The way either you are gonna provide some information that is going to, based on you, that's going to expose the following information I'm gonna give, based on you, or you can provide an information. You think that you can provide an information, or you made an information, or you are convinced with the point that what I am saying is wrong. But this is the fact. The fact is the following fact. Or maybe if you are criticizing the way that I have preached or explained my asylum or my point or my problem with the Gulf states regimes, mainly Saudi Arabia, and how I, based on you maybe, criticize and in a way that is not acceptable to you, other groups that are involved in what's happening to the Ismaili people in the Ismaili land. Okay, or affecting how life, based on our how life should be in the Ismaili land. Okay, this is another topic, but I'm just there is a small point where I just want to add. The small point is the following. It is the way uh, they have dealt with my asylum claim here in England. Oh, first, before I forget, thank you. I thank the city council for interfering and making my life wonderful. Yeah. I will say it's wonderful. And concerning the calm and the quiet uh, environment I am in. It is a wonderful Friday night. I cannot explain to you how was my previous Friday was. This is the first night after they talked to him, or the second night, this gentleman. No, I am putting cover to close the door, but there is no smell of cigarette or anything else, and there is no uh, explosion. I mean noise, bar or disco here. It's just normal room and someone in the room. So I thank them. I thank you all honestly. I thank the city council as a human being that was provided this. So I return back to the government, the British government in the West. They did send a message, a terrible message, that to the Ismailian mainly, and those who want to call for the right as Ismailian. They send this message, and I have made a dialogue with so many Ismailian and people from the non-Ismailian who respect what I'm trying to explain. Yes, and people either they have knowledge or not, and people who were following up with me since I start explaining about my point of view in 2000, the end of 2015. Just last week, something happened like this. With last week's a dialogue, which is talking about the following: that I'm giving you the result, the conclusion that the British government in the West dealing with me, detaining me, and giving me a ticket, making me rough sleep for 3 years, really send a message. Send a message that what? That anyone call for any Ismailian people right, everyone should die. And anyone among the Ismailian would even think to explain, or maybe, do you have an asylum claim program at the end? You are saying that you protect people on the political level who cannot, and you are always criticizing Saudi Arabia when it's come to the humanitarian uh, committees and council and laws and commissions. Okay, it's always in your media, but you really sent a message to so many. In my videos, the channel that was deleted, there was thousands seeing my video, and there is a lot of people who know about my case, either directly, non-directly, or following up with me, or knowing about the point I'm trying to explain. This is irrelevant to your opinion. Either you agree or disagree, or you find what I am calling for you because you are a racist person, he or she. Uh, irrelevant of your point of view. I'm just explaining to you what's happening. So a lot of people start saying, men and women, that wow, if 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 a minority go and complain about the Saudi regime and provide all sort of criticism or maybe assaults against what is considered our identity, culture, or even the regime itself, without even a relationship with our nation, he would he or she would always be protected. Atheist will always be protected. People who want lie about the reality of the minority situation, who are not Ishmaelian, minority not Ishmaelian, starting from those who call themselves Shiite, lie and exaggerate things and not show any real information about what the Ishmaelian are dealing with, and it's horrible and terrible. And Allah is the protector. If there is no protection from Allah, it would be worse on us. So immediately you protect them in the West. But someone like Tariq al-Faqir, faced what he explained about, and he's not a liar. No, I'm not a liar. You refuse him, and you force him to be detained. I'm not gonna blame the solicitors. I mean, there is a British solicitor, so-called Christian, and others even Muslim, but because they did but they explained that a person like me, especially that's the first one, especially the first. There is one anyway, the one who dealt Mr. Tony, a very wonderful gentleman, he dealt with my case. He's saying to me, no chance. With your point of views, the course will never. I mean, he deserved all politeness, and I was very polite with him. No, all of this criticism, or if you want to call it assault, is what these groups deserve. Okay. أنا لا أتجنى. In Arabic, أتجنى. أنا لست بمتجني. Which means that I don't know, I am not lying. I'm saying the truth about how dirty these groups are and how contradictory the groups that I'm criticizing on the ethnic group level or the religion level or the borders of nations in Middle East and outside Middle East, and the cases of occupation and lies about history and the history of Gulf states and Ibn Saud and the Ismaili. So I mean, let's not extremely criticize the terrorist groups like Daesh. I criticize it, and okay, but because someone is trying to explain the huge crisis that our nation is dealing with, and this detaining me, giving me the ticket, and releasing me, and then rough sleep for 3 years, and there is a lot of things that there is no need for me to explain about what happened. It's sending a message, a terrible message, from low-lifes who call themselves human, who are ruling or having something to do with the nation. Dirty people who have the right, regardless, they have a connection with the political system, which have from its place or from its position, a relationship with the political system there in Gulf states, and something to do with agenda and the satanic or dark or unlegal, unjustified, unjust interest, that this person shouldn't be shown any respect. No, it's not because of these words you're saying. No, because he's just stopping our antichrist job, the satanic project. He is stopping Gog and Magog. He's just stopping things that is exposed by what he's saying. Understand me? And there is a lot of people are involved with passports in Gulf states and opposition who got nothing to do with our Ishmaelian land, who are working like germs and viruses with these Western powers. Russia is involved, Iran, the so-called Israelis, the Goyim, the Shiite, those who call themselves Shiite, and the so-called Hinduism, so-called Hindu, so-called Buddhist, China, India, dealing with Islam. Islam center is in Mecca and Medina. Um, the change, fighting terror, the Ismailian land again, Ismailian interest. But let's return back to the point. You are a criminal. This is the conclusion. You are criminal. I don't care if there is a certain other asylum. I'm gonna go and look at the Gulf States asylum seekers. And I'm gonna look into those who you made a big scene about them. Like the Torsh, Raif Bedoui, the Torsh, General Hadrul, another Torsh. Torsh from Bahrain and Torsh from Kuwait, how they you support them, who are assaulting our identity, our culture, and even our faith. Our figures, some would say your figures are bad figures, like for example, when we deal with Aisha, it's not your business. You just march from our land. This is not the England. This is not France. We didn't colonize you. We're a nice people. Yes, before 14th century there was a liberation to our part of the Ishmael in Iraq, in Sham, in Jordan, in Egypt. We helped in liberating the natives in North Africa from the brutal Roman occupation and the brutal Persian occupation. This is facts. The Mughal are not native Arabs. Those who ruled India by Islam are not native Arabs. Those who liberated Andalusia are not native Arab. Those okay, those who ruled the Uthmanic Khilafah are not native Arab. Mamalik and others not native Arabs. Those who Safawis not native Arabs. So I'm wondering why the British are angry, though their ancestor was very what is the word? Very your ancestor in Persia, the majority of you in Iran were very gratitude, having this gratitude to Umar ibn al-Khattab, who liberated them from that brutal regime of Kisra. Uh, Muslims who ruled India are not native Arab, but they saved a lot of your ancestors in India because your faith is filth. The sectors and the groups of the don't be angry with me if you're a Hindu. Be angry with yourself and this devil satanic gods which you're worshipping, which is only in the creation of God Almighty. Either you like it or not. God Almighty, Allah. Sayyidina Muhammad is a final messenger, the supreme creator. There is a so-called Hindu, Wallahi al-Azim. I said to him, and he's from this specific so-called Hindu sector. And I said to him, what about the supreme God that you should worship? And he started insulting the supreme God. And I said, why are you mentioning relating yourself to the so-called Hindu faith and relating yourself to this sector, this group? Why are you insulting the supreme God mentioned in the filthy books by manipulation? So you understand me? So this faith is all about racism and slavery, rape culture, raping children, sacrifice, all sorts of dirt, eating mice or worshipping mice, rape culture. A terrible thing. Racism, destroying other people, other sectors of so-called Hindus, temples, raping them, killing them. Terrible. Pagan. So Muslims came and spread a lot of lives. And they stopped a lot of massacres and genocide. Why am I mentioning this? Okay, so I need to say the fact about the so-called Christian pig of earth. Muhammad said that the real true Messiah, son of Virgin Mary, will come and kill this pig of earth. Wallahi, he said it. Wallahi, he said that the real Messiah will come and destroy this Jesus. Wallahi, he said it. Don't be angry with Muhammad. He's a person who had enough with the life of terrible, unbelievable, bad life he dealt with, and slavery, and dealing a lot of things, practices, dealing with women. He stayed at that cave in a very terrible way, and he was almost of the time crying. He don't want to live this life. Neglected even his own wife, she's the one who followed up so that she was a divorced woman, so that he would marry. And God said, you are the chosen one to be a final messenger. Okay? He explained this. he explained about this. Someone drew a picture of the airplanes. How he talked about the airplanes, that the Antichrist will be in an airplane at the end times, but there will be a few airplanes. Anyway, there will be mansions after they leave the mansions, and horses after they leave the horses, which is our area right now. And someone draw this donkey, flying donkey, with the very long ears. He's explaining to his companion. He's saying to them, there will be a donkey at the end times, and this donkey have a lot of. Do you see the camel? When they sit at the camel, a lot of these chairs of the camel, and this monkey will be tall, but his ears is very tall as well. Someone draw it, like, see, find a camel and someone riding a camel. There's something like this. So someone draw a big monkey with a lot of these chairs of the, what do you call it? The camel. And I'm not gonna. The Antichrist will be in one area anyway. So this is the airplane. This donkey, this big donkey will take people. He talked about the mobile. He talked about the earphone. I understand that so many people are saying, oh, no. Yeah. The mobile, and how people would tell you what's happened to your family. It's like a small wood, like their shoes before is like this, like these mobiles. They put something. And then people talk to their family in this system, and the hadid will talk. What do you call it? The steel shall talk. Television and other things, and Twitter. He talked about Twitter. Twitter. He talked about Twitter. That people by thoughts will be all over the world. Anyway, no, regardless. So this guy, Muhammad peace be upon him, is just explaining that this is an Antichrist. This is by the Roman. وَجَدَ ضَلَّتَهُ بِالرُّومِ. And he talked about so many things. Of course, I'm interpreting. He talked about the century of the devil, and it will be operating in a great deal in Najd. People say it's in Iraq. No, it's Najd and Riyadh. Well, I have explained. It's a century, and people who say it's Najd and Riyadh, like the so-called Shiite, saying, look, the Najd and Riyadh, this is the century of the devil operating there. They don't know that they are the one who is really blamed, not the Saudi Najdi. They don't know. They don't understand. They don't understand that there is a lot of people around. The people are helping in operating this century of the devil from Najd. They don't understand by the criticism, the wrong criticism. People are stupid anyway. What I say is the truth. No, you don't question. You go question yourself and question your faith. But you have sent the message. You have sent the message that there is no place for any Ishmaelian people complain. And this is an extreme racial discrimination. And when I'm saying the British government is a racist government, now, 21st century, one evidence, tariq evidence, the Western nation, the Western media is racist. Someone will say, what about the other nation? The other nation deserves to be bombed by nuclear, and you deserve to be tortured until you become a normal human being. You filth. I'm not talking about filthy Russia. That's filthy. Why you're saying that? Because we didn't attack Russia. Russia is attacking the Muslim. Russia is making problem with Syria. Russia is making problem in Iraq. Russia is interfering with Iran. Okay, Russia helped the Chinese, and the Chinese are persecuting the Eastern province. Russia do not have any Muslims. At the minimum here in the West, there is. Imagine if I was in China, or in Russia, or in India. I would be in the second flight, returning back to the filth, Sulugi, Salman. But here with the bitch Elizabeth, there is a chance. Anyway, I'm talking about humanitarian thing. Shut up. See, humanitarian. I'm a human. Shut up. Fuck you. Anyway, so this is racism. This is not good. The West always blah 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 blah. I'm not going to talk about invading Iraq, the illegal invasion of Iraq. Your biggest crime, this 42 country, 43 country, 35 with military, with weapon, entered Iraq, and 8 logistic. One of them is Saudi Arabia. The biggest crime that you have committed in the beginning of this millennium, or maybe in all of this millennium, the biggest crime is invading Iraq. You don't just how this is how it is. Biggest crime. So-called Israelis, they are filthy, gohem intruders, bad people, bad gypsies, bad Euro-Indian, bad gohems. There is, based on my resource, someone talked to Mohammed bin Salman, the crown prince, indirectly, and he said to him, they sent him a message that you need to admit that you are originally from Turkey, so that we would make you a king. And he was wondering why. They said, because we are gohem in the Holy Land, and we are intruders, and you are intruders. Wallahi, something like this. This is the resource. The resource is not the main one. It's up to the fifth. So there was some talk that Mohammed bin Salman need to admit that he's from Turkey originally. Okay, and the Saud House, of course. And once they admit this, we would give all this. There was some question mark. Why? The answer is, and they gave him the answer, because we are going either from Europe, Africa, Iran. We are not the natives, Holy Landers. This point, if you don't want to believe me, don't believe me. This is not important. Anyway, so this is bad. You're racist, England. The Home Office, racist. I mean, bitches and faggots coming to you who their input in life is dirt. What do you mean? Darkness. Rubbish. Filth. You give them all sort of the support. Even that, imagine, Yani, I don't want to mention any name. From Saudi Arabia, from Bahrain, come here and complain for the absolute wrong reason. People who are not from our country, and their minority Jalia, or committee, intruder, or Tursh, is living the high. I mean, in comparison to what we can, if we manage by the percentage, نسبة وتناسب, to the Ishmaelian, they are living in paradise. Racism. England is racist. If you're among the public and you don't like what I'm saying for the wrong reasons, fuck you. Don't involve yourself unless if you want to provide a good input, humanitarian input. Don't be like this bad government. Racism is not good. By me, you have insulted the Ishmaelian. So many. I'm not talking about models and gays and prostitutes and faggots. No, I'm talking about men and women who represent this nation. I'm not talking about the non-Ishmaelian who are behind the humiliation that I have dealt with. I'm not talking about this filthy, disgusting, rapist, seducing, ambush, processing royal families, starting with the royal South shit house family. No, talking about wonderful men and women among the Ishmaelian. They were since their childhood wonderful, and and their marriage, their children, and some of them old, know about me, and you send them a terrible message, which is that we don't give a fuck. And you combined the way you send this message, Daesh, terrorist, dark age, caveman, manhood, without understanding the serious of development. I mean, without understanding that Gog and Magog, Satan, God, who sent them at the time, here we're back, Salah ad-Din, we're back, we're based on what? حروب الاسترجاع, return it back by the Catholics, popes, who do not give a care about the Jesus, the pig of earth. even the Messiah, son of Virgin Mary, is a myth that they have used, and this is how their system, the Roman system before the Messiah, dealt with, and their God, and they know that have nothing to do with the son of Virgin Mary, Antichrist. Anyway, I'm not talking about this Pope. I'm talking about something happened before. It might be bad in some what they are doing in the Vatican in some areas. This is another point, but before it was dirty. Before you blame Henry VIII, study what the Catholic used to do, and this Satan god of Gog and Magog made an unrealistic borders that cut the nation of Ishmael, and I've explained about this point. I don't need to explain more. You do not ignore what happened to the native Ishmael, Ahl Nasra in Iraq after the illegal invasion of Iraq, and this is a normal reactions. You go and not look with a humanitarian look to what created Al-Qaeda, what created Taliban, what happened in Afghanistan, the brutality that was dealt against the Afghani people since the 60s. If you track the system till to that time, you will find the signs to explain to you what's happening, and you just did worse and damaged the life of people. Was you and Moscow, the criminal. And others took advantage from the way you're dealing with crisis. China destroyed the life of Eastern Turkmenistanis. Criminal Beijinic COVID-19 system regime that need to pay the price for this dirty virus. Have nothing to do with the American army. Got nothing to do. No, it's not man-made. It's a dirty virus came from these bats. Go and enter these places, Hadar, where they put the bat. You will smell. Shit will be a nice smell comparing to this. Do your research. No, it's not man-made. It's a terrible virus. Because how? And they killed the doctor that tried to help in stopping it from the beginning. Brutal. But they can do whatever they want with each another. Why they're occupying Eastern Turkmenistan. Also, the way you dealt with Middle East after establishing the so-called Israeli state until the 80s and the 90s, and how you dealt with 9/11, the inside job, and how you dealt with the reaction of invading Iraq, helped the so-called Shiite who got nothing to do with Middle East to destroy our life. These criminals. You are racist. You send a message to these people in the Ishmaelian land that we don't care. We don't care about you. A lot of men and women were hurt by my story, in my case. They prayed. And they wished me for explaining. And you said to them, we don't care. He must be tortured in our country. So fuck you. Okay? I'm not talking to the city council, some workers here, nice people here. I'm talking about the government. Okay? The Home Office. And the West as well with media. You are a bad people. You are a racist. I'm not dealing with the public, the community. No, they're nice. Nice or bad, this is not their business. I'm talking about they should elect and they should demonstrate when some filthy creatures like Tony Blair or Bush Jr. bring damage to others and then create a result. I mean, there is a lot. Racism. The Ishmaelian people right. The Ishmaelian land. This is our right from A to Z. It's not your country, non-Ishmaelians. It's not your land. Stop being racist. Don't lie about our history. Our ancestors are wonderful ancestors. And if there is something bad, compare it to your ancestors or compare it to the nations that you originally came from as low lives. You came and your ancestors, when I say ancestor, I don't talk about your ancestor before centuries. I'm talking about 60 years, most of you, or 50 years, or even 40 years. Or at the maximum 80. Okay? Agreed to live based on our style. When you go and talk about Ibn Dhurut, Ibn Tugu', Ibn Zuguk, Ibn Saud, the farting Ibn, the son of Fart, Ibn Saud Abdul Aziz, and how the brotherhood of the Bedouins, native majority Ismailian, worked with him and certain rules. Don't mention lies about what you call Hijaz, about Eastern Bloc. You are intruders. Now don't delete the video, please. When you are from Kuwait and you have a passport Kuwaiti, don't look to Saudi. This is, I have dealt with this. I have dealt with non-Ismailian in Kuwait who dealt with me in a very terrible way, and Bahrain as well. A so-called Shiite, angry with every Saudi who is in the bridge between Bahrain, okay, and others coming from Asia, and they have the passport of Emirate and look down to us. We are Mariti, عيال ضارط, عيال طاقع. This is our Omanis, who right now are celebrating the destruction that occurred to the Ismailian while they are from Center Asia or Center Africa or other places. Please, this is racism. Stop your racism. Racism is not good. Don't question what I am saying. Our nation right now is a terrible situation. The good men and the good women and those who should represent the nation are in a pain that you cannot imagine. There is only God who can hear their prayers. Only God who can see Allah, their pain, and inshallah, among them, bi'idhnillah, those who God will answer their calls for help. I have explained all of this and I have prophesied things, not a prophecy, based on what I say. Look what's happening right now. And I don't feel, yani, look at me, did I say that? No, it's terrible. And I wish that I'm wrong, but it's happened. Okay? Really, wallah. Wallahi, really. They were used to disagree with me. I even, some relatives, not talking about a father, within the relatives, father or a mother or brother, I'm talking about the relatives who just, my generation, I don't go and talk to those who just did not want to talk to me, but I just want to know how they think right now. But it's not the Saud house. It's others as well, internally and externally. And unfortunately, the worst proved that it's a racist nation on the political level. I have explained enough. I don't need to explain more. Again, thank you, City Council, for allowing me to have this place to sit and for helping me. I don't want to complain. I just want, but I had to. Thank you very much, really. You're helping me. And if you're angry with the City Council, why they give me an accommodation and you want me to be at the street until I die, may you be doomed. May you be doomed, I mean. Today I'm gonna sleep normally. Thank you. It's a personal case with an alignment of understanding the Ismailian people right in the Ismaili land. It's a personal case with an alignment of understanding Islam. And Islam is the submission to God Almighty, Allah, the owner of existence, the creator of existence, the founder of existence. Allah, most merciful, who sent messengers, and Muhammad is his final messenger. He's a mercy upon mankind. God identified him and insisted this identification about him. He's a mercy upon mankind, and he was the last and the final man who received a revelation to humanity while he's awake. Thank you.